So I'm here with Light. He's another fellow detox practitioner, and we are going to chat today about what it takes to really heal and reverse your disease, your illness, your chronic pain, all the stuff that you're going through. So, did you want to say some things to get started? I'm Adrienne, Holistic Living with Adrienne. I'm also a certified detox specialist. We're both iridologists, and yeah. So let's get to it. Light, would you add some words to just describe, introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm a being on this planet,
Yeah.
and I specialize on cellular regeneration, deep tissue, like the deepest of tissue cleansing. But it's so much more than that. Like we were just saying a minute ago, right?
Yeah.
It's so much deeper than just the physical stuff. Uh, but essentially, yeah, we're doing the same thing, and we're just trying
You
to
are.
hold this torch. I mean, as much as we, because our teacher has been dismantled and all this, and we're just trying
Yeah.
to
Yes.
show up and keep his I mean, as much as we can,
I
his
love
message.
that. I never saw it that way, but you're right. He has all these students, his minions, and we're all out there really trying to like fight back because he's been suppressed.
Yeah.
And and it's like it's the truth and so many people. And I also love how, that's why it's good to get together with other practitioners because we all have our own unique way of describing things and explaining things.
Hmm.
And for me, I don't know if it was the past brain injury, but like my words don't come out right. But the way you said it, like even deep tissue regeneration gives such a good visual to what it is at the core. I mean, or maybe that's
Hmm.
not at the core. I think at the core is definitely the mental discipline, but deep tissue regeneration is really something that just brings a good visual to what's going on.
Yeah,
So yeah, we all have
exactly.
something to add. Yeah.
Because just like anyone else that has dabbled into these arts of healing,
Yeah.
you've tried a lot to get well, and you know that, yeah, you can feel better, and then you can have the deep true healing. There's a lot of a difference between the two. Just to have things improve, and to start feeling a little bit better, because you went
Yeah.
from standard diet to making a little bit of changes, or you're taking this or you're doing that, but you have to go, right? You have to go all the way into nature and explore the realms of the fruits, and
Yeah.
find out about these teachings of like Arnold Ehret, maybe
Yeah.
Hilton Hatima, of course Dr. Morse, you know
Yeah.
to really have real
So
true
true.
healing. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so true. And that's something that like I haven't had a client to dig that deep. And it's really what I want for everyone, but not in like egotistical way, like I want this and I want that. But it's so true
Hmm.
because people are usually just trying to look to feel better and then they stop. But going
Yeah.
deeper is so profound and life changing. And you just earlier were talking about being in that alone state for a couple months, even. And people, I was talking to someone the other day and she was saying how she was so afraid to be alone with herself. Like as soon as she would sit down, it would be a Friday night, the TV was on. She's like, "What am I doing here alone? Like, I need to see who can I contact, who can I go out with?" And now she's found like to like being with herself, and that's the start of it. But you're right, to like really get deep on all the levels. Spend time outside, spend time grounding, get rid of as much clothes as you can. Get the sun on your skin. The mucoid plaque, which I wanted to talk to you about that because a lot of people don't. That's like a whole other level where you're getting rid of generational stuff and accumulated stuff from since birth. So I think that's a good segue because you had an
Yeah.
awesome post on Facebook, which I'll link your stuff somewhere. Um,
Yeah, same.
but you were talking about doing extended juice fasts, which I'll be honest, the longest juice fast I've done is 10 days. So I have not done that deeper stuff. I've done colonics and they're like, oh, I see mucoid plaque, but I don't really think they're trained to know that it's such like a deep tissue thing. So when you were
So
mentioning 100 days fasting to really get rid of that, and then you see pictures, I think Dr. Morris just showed recently a picture of a client holding a thing up like 6 feet, mucoid plaque or some type of parasite. But I would love for you to just share your experience with fasting and getting to those deeper levels. What have you removed? What have you seen? And then how did you feel after it? Because I hear that there's a burst of energy and it's like nothing else. So take it from here, buddy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, geez.
I know.
Well, I've done quite a bit of juice fasting. I've done some
Mhm.
long water fasts and some short water fasts, and I've done some long dry fast, kind of a long dry fast and short dry fasts. Um, I've seen some crazy, literally
I know.
shit come out of me.
I
I've
want to
seen
know.
worms. I've seen
Yeah.
worms. Even before all this, even 10 years ago, I had some roundworms. I saw that. On this.
How
I
did
don't
those?
even
How
know
did you release those? Were you on herbs or a clean diet, or were you just that
gosh.
toxic? They came out.
The issue is me and my ex were working on a old farm that used to be a pig farm, and it was
Oh,
organic. It was organic
wow.
produce.
Mhm,
But previous to that, it was pigs, and we didn't
mhm.
know that until she discovered one, and then she was like, "Hey, I found this," and then I started taking a closer look, and I was like, "Oh gosh!" And so
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So yeah,
So
that was like
just
10,
coming
11
into
years ago.
contact with pigs,
Wow, the
because I know,
pig,
like Dr. Morse mentioned, a butcher who he ate a lot of meat, of course, but he had tons of worms in him
oh
because he
yeah,
was
the
working
pigs are
with
the
meat all the
worst.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pig. Pigs were on there before this crop that we, at
Sorry.
least, or I mean, I don't know, it wasn't composted enough,
Yeah,
probably, right? Enough, that's the
crazy.
thing. But um, I've seen liver flukes come out of me, definitely at least a few times, which is like little leech-looking things.
What? That's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I've seen that.
How did that come out? Like, what did you do? Were you fasting or
I mean,
herbs?
honestly, there's been so many fasts that I've done. Or I've done a lot of
Okay.
herbs. I've done a lot of
Okay.
fasts, a lot of enemas. I've done colonics.
So it's
I
just
only
collectively
advocate
everything that you've released.
collectively.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
And I've
Keep
seen tons
going.
of mucus, tons and
Mucus,
tons of mucus. I had black stuff coming out of me, and
like
when I
mold.
hit, I think it was 75 days of grape and
Yeah.
lemon juice. I started to really starting to hit a turning point there, and I started getting, yeah, it could have been mold. Who knows? I mean, it was
Was it
nasty stuff.
tarry? Was it like black and tarry,
Oh
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
mucoid
yeah.
plaque?
Yeah, the mucoid plaque is it can be long and ropey,
Yeah.
tarry, sticky, hardened, jelly. It's very
Interesting.
sulfury, orangish looking. You can see it.
Okay.
It's oh,
I've
you
had
can
like
literally,
stuff like that.
yeah.
I know it's gross. Everything we're talking about is going to be
Yeah,
really gross, but I'm just
yeah.
trying to think because in my head, like I've seen the pictures and
Mhm.
I thought it was like the harder tarry stuff, but you're right. It's any type of
Oh yeah.
stage of
Yep.
compaction or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
That's
greenish, white. I mean, the thing is you notice, I've noticed this to a T, to the finest T, because I've noticed that if you go back and I eat some beans or some whatever rice or some whatever vegan
mm,
pizza or whatever,
oh yeah,
anything that's heavy,
something.
and I do an enema right the next day, the I will see clear, thick, I know it's gross, and thick, white, clear mucus. So that is the stuff that you just ate that hasn't hardened into mucoid plaque yet. I know it's so gross, but guys,
No, I'm
that's
fascinated, and
what,
it's so true. That's what happens
yeah,
when you clean up. You see what's supposed to come out.
yep,
It's interesting.
yeah.
When I
You
when
can
I
see the,
when I eat crap, because that's what it is. It's not even food. I mean,
exactly.
not literal crap, guys. Like food, food. Um, I noticed like a lot of mucus, like even in my urine, mucus and white
Oh, yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Seriously, in the urine, it's like people are talking about drinking this. I mean, I'm not going to say there's no truth to that at all. There's probably some truth to it, but you're going to heal anytime um, you make a diet change. Everyone gets fanatic about drinking the pee, and it's like, dude, I've seen pee after 5 days of dry fasting. It was literally a liter, over a liter of milkshake white. I'm not drinking
Wow.
that. I'm not going to drink that. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's
That's just
crazy.
me. I mean, I found my thing. And so anyone that
Yeah.
wants to try to push the drinking the pee thing,
I
that's hey, I
know.
like that you're open-minded, but
Yeah.
so that's a side tangent, but I haven't
No,
talked
I
about that
know.
enough, but
There's so
it's
much
starting to
stuff out there, and like people just don't understand that the body will feel good when we stop the healing process. But if you're eating good and you're gonna feel like crap, and you drink your urine, it's like the body's like pulling back, like, whoa, now I need to go into, you know, the mode where I'm trying to get rid of that junk and garbage. But yeah, you
mm,
can argue with people about how it's drinking your own waste and all that stuff. But I mean, it's just about, like you mentioned, being open minded, but also just letting go. Like people are just going to be people and do what they want to do and
yeah,
have to
for
figure it
sure.
out on their own. But yeah, it's not right to, if your body's trying to get something out, then why would you go and drink it? But yeah, people make all these claims that they feel better, and I'm just kind of like, you feel
Yeah,
better because
I
your body
know.
stopped healing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I know that, and yeah, it's always like, hey, I'm feeling better, dude. You came from standard Australian diet or standard UK diet, or wherever you're from, and you're a fanatic about this, dude. Anytime you change any of your lifestyle, your diet, you think it was eating the fruit or the raw foods, or
mm,
going to bed earlier, or any of these other things, or was it just they always fixate on that, and there's no hate to them, but it's
yeah,
starting to kind of irritate me because sometimes it's just like, dude, they always want to push it, and I'm gonna just start to be more
yeah,
fierce because it's just like it's
yes.
not my thing.
I think a
Anyways,
lot of us are kind of like that, where we're just like that. I'm trying to find my voice too, because people will talk about the carnivore diet or something that is completely not true, and I don't like contention, and I don't want to also hurt people's feelings, so I quietly step away, and I'm just like, right, they're going to believe what they want to believe. But then I feel
yeah,
like that's not doing anyone a service. So I'm learning
mhm,
to stand in my truth, and just politely being like, I don't, that's just not true. And so many people think they're experts, but maybe even people think like we're thinking like that of ourselves. But the thing is, like, we have done it. We've done this, and we've seen how it feels, and it's been an extended, like, I know it's been only 8 years for me, but that's still 8 years because other people have been in this 30
yeah,
years. And what I'm
seriously,
trying to say is, like, some people will try this for just like a few months and be like, oh, it didn't work. And then all of a sudden they're experts, and they start bashing it like, oh, you're gonna die, and like you're so wrong and all this stuff. And it's just hasn't they haven't really dug deep enough. Like you mentioned, that deep tissue stuff, mucoid plaque, that takes like serious dedication and work. Like you can't just go get colonics a few times and think that you've released the mucoid plaque. I have a client, and I love him so much. He went from a standard American diet, and found Dr. Morse, and he's like got all the books. He's reading, like he's doing all the things. He went into a 14-day juice fast, but he's still new to it. And he's like, I got a colonics, and she said I'm clean. There's no parasites. I have no mucoid plaque. And he was like, I did a juice fast. He was like, I have no more solids in me. And I'm like, let me sit you down real fast. Like, let me tell you, it takes so long to hydrate the body and really start to peel away those layers, but yeah, experience and just going through it. And that's why we can speak like this, because we've done it. And like when you clean up all the energy channels and you're pure energy, like, well, I was liquidarian for 3 years, but that included smoothies. So I can't say like I've
Yeah,
extended juice
that's
fast,
okay. Okay.
Smoothies
Okay.
are
Yeah.
like
So,
fiber. And I
I
would do
remember you saying
spirulina.
that.
Yeah. And I would do like spirulina a lot because that was in the beginning of my journey. And I was afraid I wasn't getting B12 and
Wow.
certain amino acids. And I was doing a lot of chia seeds in my smoothie. So it was very filling and a very dense energy. And maybe that's why it took me, even though I was on liquids, maybe that's why it took me 3 years to see any detox symptoms, because I was doing things differently. But anyways, that's why
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider me juicing, like doing any extended juice fast. Um, but what I was trying to say was when you do
Yeah.
move all the energy channels around, it's another feeling. Like people say fruit makes them feel like crap, and it's not. Fruit is everything. It opens you up, and when you start moving the energy channels, you literally become a vessel for electricity that we have just here in the ether. And like it's so true. Like you go out and you get these downloads. I know it sounds cliche, but you literally pick up information, and you just like smile, and you have this happiness, and it's amazing. And like that's my goal, is to get back there and always be in that vibration. But I know like life is like this and whatever, but it's a beautiful place to be, and it's all love, and like it's like magic. Things just open up. So have you had
Yeah.
that experience? The
Oh
download
yeah.
stuff? And yeah.
Every all the time,
Yeah.
all the downloads. Yeah, as much
Love
when I
it.
need them, they're there, and it's just like you said. Totally, it's all about the energy. It's really we absorb pure love. There's this
Mm,
infinite love source, right? It's that spark of life, and no matter what you go through, you can always just sit there and tap into it in any time, in nature, in the city. It doesn't matter where you're at. Tap into that spark of life, the
mm,
true source, the one true source, because there is another source on this planet, if people haven't noticed, that is synthetic, artificial, that runs on fear. It's a parasitic force. It's not human at all, but a lot of humans, all humans are entrapped in it, right? Because it's infiltrated every single part of our life. So we
mm.
have to make sure that we know what source do we answer to,
Yeah.
and 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 yeah, hook up to that pure love, which the natural force, the real
You're
nature,
right.
and
Because
that's
humans were created in the image of God. God is love, God is light, whatever, not religious, but like God, the all, the supreme, the intelligent source. And so when you're talking about the opposite of that, it can't be human, So like it's interesting because there are forces to everything, duality.
yeah,
It's interesting to
yeah,
think about what that force is. It has to be the opposite of love and light, which is darkness and hate and fear. And yeah, so it's interesting thinking about the vibrations of those emotions: fear versus love, growth versus the opposite of growth, just shutting down. And yeah, and then
totally,
talking about like healing, stress will shut your immune system down.
right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
that's
interesting.
that will wipe it out.
So we talked about mucoid plaque. I would love to, because you have so many great testimonials. Like I was surprised. Like I need testimonials, but so that means you have had a lot of clients that have really had the right mental attitude, and they've had the discipline to at least go far enough to heal and reverse. their disease or whatever they came to you with. So, do you find any commonality with all of your clients that have gone the distance? And how does that feel when you have like when you see so many people that you're able to help? Like that is amazing, you know?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I've had a lot that have had the gumption and the
Mhm.
bright awareness, and that have just had enough, and that really knew this was the truth and stuck with it. But I've had a lot who haven't, a lot who haven't.
Oh
So
yeah.
what?
I
Oh
guess
yeah,
it's true.
oh yeah. But
For all
yeah,
the
I mean,
hundreds of you've had. Okay.
I
That
mean,
makes
I
sense.
don't.
Yeah.
I There's so many, but really, it's like the real quality is that deep knowing of that. Even though I'm feeling crappy, like I was just talking to someone the other day who's like one of my champions,
Mm,
and he was just like,
that's awesome.
he was like, yeah, I have we were talking about how he's got some symptoms again there, but I was like, dude, it's you just have some sludge. Don't worry. I know that you've laid he did some deep work, some of the deepest work. And it was
Yeah.
like, you laid the groundwork already.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is wipe some of the surface level sludge out, like some of that, clear mucus that is in his GI tract out, and you're going to be
Mhm.
good. Like you have the blueprint, and so the people that really have that, really understand the
Yeah.
education behind this, and that really, um, they're really just they've tried everything, that's what it comes down to, and
Yeah.
they're either choosing to follow, they're either choosing to believe the simplicity of nature, which Dr. Morse teaches, or they're trying to, they're not going far enough at all. They won't do what you're suggesting. They won't do this. They won't even do the simplest things, and it's like, well, then I ask people a lot, do you want to heal? I mean, it's just straight up, how bad do you want this, and do you want to do what it takes? Because there's changes that must be made on a lot of
Yeah.
levels, and it's not just changing, like you said, changing your diet and doing this
Mhm.
and that. It's a spiritual journey, and it's a matter
Yeah.
of holistic lifestyle choices,
Mhm.
changes, and I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. I'm just think when you were talking, I was just thinking how I I mean, hopefully this one client I'm working with does reverse what he came to me for, because he seems to be diving deep. But I just get
Cool.
so many people who the lifestyle is too hard for them, and so it's like I'm such an empath, and I feel bad like when they're like, "What should I eat?" It's just like fruits. I don't know how else to make fruits make it. No, I'm like acai bowls, like maybe a salad. I was like, but just find a fruit you like and just go to town on that fruit, juice it, eat it. But it's like I feel bad because I don't have enough. And I mean, there's not many other options. It really is just fruit, and I don't know how to make it seem like appetizing. Like you look at the Dr. Morse diet, and it's like you'd expect to see like all these recipes, but it's literally fruit in the morning, smoothie for lunch, salad for dinner, and it's so basic. And I feel bad having to tell people like this is what you need. This is what it's going to take. So I'm always trying to figure out ways to transition them slow, which, that can help, but it also just makes people try and hold on to things like, oh, can I, still eat this? But so how do you, I mean, you just do like, I don't want to call it tough love, but you have to just be really straight up and like you said, how bad do you want this? 'Cause it really is like there's no easy way around it. And like I have this other client and she's a nurse and she's always working. So she's like, this is really hard. Like she's struggling really bad because it's so hard. But I'm giving her all the tools and I don't know what else to tell her. And like I don't want to be like tough love, but you just have to make the time. And I keep saying that you have to like make the time to chop up a watermelon in the morning. Like I don't know what else to tell them, but people want shortcuts and there is no shortcuts. Like I was telling my daughter the other day, I made raw tacos last night. And she's 15 and she should be making her own smoothies. Every time I'm like, who wants a smoothie? She'll be like, me. And I'm thinking like, girl, but you should be helping me out at this point. Like, So I'll make her a smoothie, but
Right.
I'm like, at this age, like, you should be, if you're thirsty or hungry, whatever, you should be making your own stuff. So I made the tacos last night, and I'm like, she was the only one who ate it because my boys, they just love fruit. They don't do any veggies. They hate green stuff. So it was just me and my daughter eating the raw tacos, which are awesome. It was the walnuts. It's a little bit heavier. But anyways, it took like 10 minutes. Like, you're just chopping stuff and throwing stuff in a blender. And so this morning I'm bringing her to school and I'm like, "You like those tacos, right? It made you feel like you ate a whole meal." She's like, "Yeah, that's the only thing that I like that's like raw." And I was like, "You saw how easy that was." I was like, "Just we have to learn that convenience kills. Like when you're hungry, I don't want you to sit there and be like, oh, I don't want to cut a watermelon because she loves watermelon, but she won't cut it." I'm like, you just got to learn to make the time for yourself. Like put in that effort for yourself because you're worth it. Your health is worth it. And like, if you're not keeping on the fruit and constantly eating when you're hungry, like fruit, then your mind is going to go elsewhere and you're going to think about what's easy and like, oh, you're going to look forward to your cooked food days because I do give them like 2 a week. Usually it's with their dad, but yeah, it's just I guess being an empath and trying to do this, you feel bad because you're taking things away from people and it's breaking their habits, but it seems like you don't either feel like that or you're just straight to the point and do people leave when you have you had a lot of clients that are like, "Oh, I can't do that," or do they try and find shortcuts or no?
Well, I mean, I've had so many who they don't respond anymore. I reach out to every single. I keep tabs on everyone. And a
How do you
lot
do
they're just
that? Just like
well,
a
I just
weekly
follow
schedule?
if they have a follow up. Well, I keep tab. I mean, I don't keep tabs on. I guess I don't keep tabs, but I always will follow
Oh,
up after a
yeah,
while and be like, just to check in. And it's
yeah,
like, and I get people who just they don't respond, and that just means they get it didn't they didn't do the distance, or they didn't usually, or they went to the carnivore, or they tried probiotics, or they tried something else that is not going to work. They tried something else that's just going to keep them lost,
yeah,
something that a quick fix thing, and they didn't want to do it, and it's usually the emotional thing. They didn't want to. They couldn't
yes,
sit with the emotional, which is understandable. The stuff that comes up on this. That's why we always explain it. Be prepared for what's going to come when you're having these healing opportunity events, because it's intense.
yes,
It's. But yeah,
yeah,
you gotta be. I waited a long time until I started helping people, and then once I don't know. I've gotten better at. I'm always emotional about it, and especially, and then I'm like, oh, but you know what? It's their journey. You got to have, like Dr. Moore says, the detached compassion. And I
yeah,
can't.
absolutely.
I have too much things going on. I'm trying to stay alive in this dying you know on this planet. Well, I'm creating a new world on this planet, but it's in order to do
Yeah,
that, you kind of have to be in the matrix sometimes and be out. And I'm preparing to totally disconnect from the matrix 100%. That doesn't mean I'm not going to still be able to do YouTubes and help people, but I'm ready to lay my foundation so that I can um,
mm,
just
yeah,
arrive to
definitely.
my highest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a toxic world and everything.
Uh,
At least, with the COVID thing, at least it came out that we are being lied to, and a lot of people woke up. But yes, it's a toxic world, and I mean, I would think that that's something that would motivate people to get on this journey. It's like, hey, we're in survivor mode because this is the only thing we can control. But the air and the other toxins that like we don't know about, what they put in the ether, the programming, like the cell phones, all the radiation, there's so much we can't control. But if we can fix the chemistry in our body, the body is created to regenerate and radiation won't stick. And so there you go. Like, so I mean, that's my focus.
yeah.
But yeah, we're in such a toxic world that it's like we need to do so. If we don't do anything, then what's going to happen? Like, Earth is a beautiful planet. There's no other place like it. According to my studies, there's no other planet like this with the nature and just the manifestation planet. Things happen very fast here on Earth, and so when people started wearing masks, my ex-boyfriend was just like, just wear a mask, and I'm like, what? Like, if I do this, like, who's going to stand up for our rights? Like, someone has to put the stop somewhere, and yeah, it's not us, then who? It's got to be someone. But yeah, good food sources. The earth regenerates so fast, just like the body. Remember Dr. Moore saying, like, the physical body is the first thing to start turning around, but then yeah, you start getting into the other layers. But the earth is
Yep.
the same thing. You just, regenerative farming practices, it yields so much better than what they're doing now to get crops out. But I wanted to talk about because I even heard Dan McDonald saying, like, he starts his detox consultations. He says straight up, this is not about a diet. What's going on internally, because there's the emotional part of it. People are so afraid of feeling their emotions, and we use food a lot to cover it up or numb it or not even think about it. I'm guilty. I think, growing up, I've had a little weird relationship with food, and so it's always there, the emotional eating or whatever. So what advice can you give to anyone watching this video about feeling the detox physically, but then when the adrenals start to kick up and the emotions start to pop up, the ego starts to come in? What helps you to stay on track, or what do you tell your clients when that happens?
Yeah. Of course, let go. Let go. Let go of the thoughts.
Yeah.
Let go of the thoughts.
How do you do that?
Return. You 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 just let go. You go, okay, you know what? I've had enough. I like to take a big you have that big sigh. It tells your body, hey, I'm safe. Your body hears that. All of your cells feel that. So you have a big and then you can
Yeah.
visualize the
Yeah.
just the fault, like I was talking about earlier, these insertions. We've all been every single part of this reality has been inserted with false programs that are trying to serve an agenda since
Mm,
birth. So when we go, you know what? I'm letting go of all of this stuff, and I am ultimate. I am infinite. I am more powerful than all of this stuff, all of this evil stuff in this world. I am more powerful. That's why they want to
mm,
us, right? Because we are powerful. So I say that, and then I have a few um, really top shelf 432 hertz and 528 hertz tracks that are just like I've scoured them, and I have like five that are just like the best ever. So
are they just
I like to
pure tone, or
not just pure tone. It's just like massage music, or
got the little
like
meditation stuff in the
spiritual
background? Yeah.
no, no, it's more just like flutes and really dramatic, like spirit, super spiritual. I could send you some.
Yes, I would love
Yeah,
it.
I could send you the good ones. So I do that, and then I just
Yeah.
say, hang with it, and I
So
try to
then
be like,
you're talking about meditation. Do you not prescribe, what's the word? Do you recommend your clients to meditate to get through the emotional part? Or do you
if they
just tell them
can.
put on these tones and just try and let go? Kind of the same thing, I guess.
I say I say it's just hang in there. I know how I've been there. I was beach ridden slash bedridden for 3 years, so I know it's rough when it hurts to just exist. Just laying down hurts. Thinking hurts. So I know how it is
Yeah.
where it's and you just got to stick with it, and that's where I'm like just remember your goals. Remember how good you're going to feel, because you can already taste it. If you want to put your focus there on what you're trying to do here,
Mhm.
and and stick with it. Your kidneys are, why is this stuff going on? Because, and then I just like to remind people, that's because you got buried treasure. It's not treasure, but it's buried
Yeah.
sewage deposits that are coming up. You've got toxins, mucus, emotions, parasites, all of this stuff wrapped in each you know area. It's
Yeah,
coming
the
out. It's
trillions of cells. Yeah.
trillions of cells, and I like to say a lot of the time there's 100,000 miles of lymphatic pathways in just one body. So do you think that's just going to be, hey, I'm going to take these probiotics, it's going to heal
Uh,
everything, hey, I'm going to start doing these
yes.
small little things, so I'm just going to do this? Dude, you got like the C word, or you got the like the hypothyroid, you have like the fibromyalgias and stuff, like, it's like, dude,
Oh
stuff
man,
took
that's
a
a
long time.
shame.
It took you a long time to develop. You have MS. Well, you know what, I have a best friend who has MS. She's actually a colonic hydrotherapist. She's actually one who actually knows her shit straight up. Like, she's like, she had hardcore MS. And you know what? Ever since I've known her, she's a badass warrior woman.
Really?
You would never think that she
So
had
awesome.
MS ever. And that's just since I've known her. So she healed it a long time ago.
That's awesome. See, those are the
Yeah.
best healers. You go through this
Yeah.
stuff and then can
Yeah.
help others.
Yeah. Your story is, I can't,
Thanks.
I would like to get to know you more and hear more about, I saw those pictures and brain injury. Sad.
I don't,
You,
that's what, for so many years, I'm like, why am I alive? Like, I should not be alive. And I wasn't very spiritual at all. So I would just have survivor's guilt. And now I know, like, you go through, my whole life has been trauma. And now I know why I am the way I am. I'm just at peace and I love everything. And so I'm super grateful for everything that happened because it's built me to who I am, and like I know that I'm here to help others, or else I wouldn't be here anymore, you know. But
sure.
but it's a great journey. I got into quantum healing, and that's another amazing, just spiritual thing. So
Cool.
I'm trying to marry the two ideas. It's contacting the subconscious, which is totally different than Dr. Moore's stuff, but it all relates because you have to be healthy physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally to really have a great experience here and help others.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you because you mentioned probiotics a couple times, and then it reminded me of people love to drink kombucha and spirulina
Oh, yeah.
and things that in our realm might seem like healthy, and also colloidal silver is a big one. Um, and these are like people that are close to me and my friends, and I'm always like, no, no, thank you. But I don't ever tell them like you shouldn't be doing fermented anything. It's low vibe and it's on the dying side of chemistry. I don't speak all these things, the colloidal silver, and I should, but I just, people feel like it's healthy and like you just don't want to pop their bubble. But what do you say when people are talking about the fermented stuff? Because, like initially it can make you feel good in your stomach because it's, making things move around, but overall, it's not doing anything. So what do you think about the fermented things and
Well, I didn't hear some of that, but basically I think I got the gist of it. So yeah, I like drinking kombucha too.
you do?
Um, I liked like
Okay.
10, 8 years ago, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. 10 years ago, I was drinking it and stuff because of the taste. But yeah, I don't think it's healthy.
Okay.
Do I think sauerkraut and kimchi is the worst thing in the world? No, I do consume it sometimes.
Mhm.
Just because I'm not always super intense. I like to be balanced. And
Yeah.
and for me to have a salad, if I'm gonna choose, hey, and do I want to have something that will flavor my salad a little bit, like kimchi or sauerkraut, or do I want to have something that is heavy, like tahini or nuts or
Mhm.
seeds or oil? I rather go with the fermented stuff because it's not going to have that it's not going to create much mucus in the body. It's not, in my opinion, it's still not great, but
Mhm.
compared to those other things, that's other stuff is going to create a heavy layer of mucus, trail of mucus. Where a little sauerkraut, it's fermented, it's going to pass through you quickly,
Mhm.
and so it's kind of, it depends on where you're at and what you're doing. I don't
Yeah.
think it, you know, I think there still is some truth to the probiotics. I don't think everything is black or white, to be honest. And I heard
Yeah.
you mention colloidal silver. I was making colloidal silver like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I think it is good because
Mhm.
everything isn't black or white. But you have to have it, make it make it your own, and make it in a glass bottle. And
Mhm.
um, you know, they're our bodies are just like nature, right? So I know that heavy metals and stuff isn't good, but gold and silver, stuff like that, we have kind of inner receptors. We have those frequencies within us. It's part of
Yeah.
the natural order. And I don't know, that's just how I
That's
listened to this
interesting.
girl, this lady, Oracle girl, who's literally the high. She's literally done the most for me in the last 3 years, than probably the most for me than almost anyone else besides like Dr. Morris and
Yeah.
stuff. And she
Wow.
is mind blowing. She talks about the gold frequency, and our source connection, and the lot. Like, she talks about a lot about
That's interesting.
what we talk about. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I just
Well, that's cool. No, I was just wondering because
yeah.
there's people who do it, and then I'm always like, I don't know. I think it like, and I guess everything in moderation, but in my head, just because I've heard Dr. Morris say like it unbalances the chemistry, it's fermented, so it's not like high vibe. But when you make it, you're right. Like if you're going to choose the heavy nuts or something that's already broken down, and obviously, why not? You're already choosing between two things that are not high vibe in the first place. And the colloidal silver, I used to do it a lot, and I thought it was helping my immunity. But then I also heard Dr. Morris just talk about, again, why would you take silver? Why would you? But I think he's talking about in excess because he was talking about people turning blue and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
But
Well, that's because they didn't make it right. They didn't make
oh
it right.
wow,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's
Or
crappy.
they or they yeah, or they took it in excess. Yeah, I guess.
But what's interesting is I do these past life regressions, and so I listen to a lot of other hypnotherapists. There's this
Uh-huh.
one lady who was brought. She came back as a Knight Templar, and she was going through these portals, and she was it was so crazy, but she was living it, and she was saying this off the wall stuff about these alchemists who created this gold powder. And she was like, I don't know how it's made. She was like, but it sustains us, and we're going to protect this. She's like, I don't know what it is, but I get a sense that it's very strong energy, and we need to hide it from the other forces. They can't have this. So she was talking about this alchemist created this gold powder, and they would eat it.
Yeah.
And the therapist was asking like, and what does this do? And she was like, it makes us so powerful, and it heals us. And so I just remember that, and I was like, that's so interesting. And she was asking the subconscious when she got to that point, like what what was in it, and it was basically atomic gold powdered. So I'm like, so I
Yep.
heard that, and I was just thinking, it's so interesting how there's so much we don't know. And yes, you're right, we have these receptors in us, and everything's a frequency. Um, so
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just wanted to hear your thoughts, and I do like how
Yeah.
you mentioned that. If you're gonna
Quantum
choose
atomic.
rice and beans or kimchi, then like, come on now, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I try not to be too black or white. I mean, I agree
Yeah.
with Morse on almost everything, I mean, but I also have
Mhm.
my own view, and which he suggests.
Yeah.
Don't he's like, you got to have your own experiences and
Yeah.
opinion too. I mean, gold is a frequency. Why do you think that they're putting it in these, like, the
This is
churches and
true.
stuff were originally, why were they so beautiful? Because they were high energy points. So they're going to
It's like
put
the
the
lightest
thing.
metal too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've heard of the
So true.
monoatomic gold, but I'm not I can't claim all this stuff. Is how do you know? How do you really know? And it's sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. It's good to
Sometimes you
say
don't
that.
need to.
It's good to just be like, I'm not an expert. I'm open to learning all the time. And, even if you have more experience than 90% of the population, the
Yeah.
smartest people claim to not know anything. Keeps you
Straight
open
up.
and humbled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah, Dr. Morse, I love him. And every time he says something like,
Best.
like just with anything, I take it all in. But he himself, he eats cooked food, and he'll mention, and that's the thing is some people get the wrong idea. They're like, oh, you can't eat fruits for your whole life, and some people choose to do it, and some people do amazing. But you're right, we're in these very dense physical bodies. We're here in a dense energetic planet, and like Dr. Bruce Lipton, the father of epigenetics, love him too. He says, what are we here for? We're here to experience, and part of that experience is physical, and the spirit doesn't know what chocolate tastes like. And he talks about how this suit is like a TV set. And when the TV set's broken, the TV station is still there. Speaking about our energy never dies, our spirit never dies. So when we get back to Dr. Morse, some people will feel really stressed out and like really restricted. And it's like, that's not worth it. If this is your lifestyle, like me and you, this is our lifestyle. Sometimes we have to have those moments where we binge eat on whatever grains and stuff because it's very grounding. But also, the stress is not worth it sometimes. If you're traveling and like you have no other options, like what are you gonna do? Starve? Or like the stress will shut down everything. And so it's good. And it also teaches you. You eat some freaking raw walnut tacos and you're like, man, I woke up with like all congestion. And sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. So yes, everything is not black and white. And I've learned that, like, when I first started this, I was hardcore. And like I said, the just doing liquids, and I felt great though. But you fall off the wagon and you're like, okay, I'm human and this is fine. It's totally fine. But so I just wanted to mention that because people who might be watching, we're two practitioners, and Dr. Morris may seem like he's always saying all fruits, but it's the fruits are to heal. The fruits are if you're dying and you need something to reverse everything, you do just 100% fruits, and you're super strict with that. And the herbs, because the herbs will speed it up and strengthen all those weaknesses. But for a long-term diet to be high vibe and vital, it's okay to fall off or just experiment because we're human and that's part of it. Yeah, just
Yeah,
wanted to say
for
that.
sure. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. A lot of people get too caught up in just detoxing.
Mm.
You got to detox and you got to rebuild. That's the thing, is you got to be able to make these
Good
calls.
point.
Like
Yeah.
Dr. Morris says, you got to know when to hold them, got to know when to fold them. It's like you're doing a great job doing this lengthy mono, citrus thing,
Yeah.
but you probably don't need to do it for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if
It's
you
true.
want to, I respect that, and that's some hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
But probably don't need. You probably be better to. I see that a lot. Do you? Where they just, people get fixated on and they don't know how to balance the two worlds. They don't know how to step in and out of them. That's the
I
thing.
don't think I've known like anyone personally that has been that hardcore. I mean,
Oh,
I'm not, I'm like the
I've
one that's like
encountered.
that in my circle, and I don't even think I'm that hardcore.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. No, there's people who are
like
way more hardcore than us, for sure. I've met
I
a
know,
lot
I
of
know
them.
there are. Like I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
there's fully raw Christina, and she's balanced herself out with. I think she said she supplements, and
Yeah.
And I don't know what else. I don't want to say too much because I don't really know these people personally, but Dan McDonald, but he also has mentioned doing other things at
And he
sometimes.
balances out, you know. They both balance out. That's the
Yeah,
thing, is they're not only always on liquids. They will not. Some people, they're like, you mention an avocado to them, and they're like, you know,
I
I mean,
know.
it's like,
Do you
and I'm
think
like,
those are just the newbies though? Because I remember I was like that.
it depends on the There's people I can think of who have been doing it a long time, who they're just,
They're still like that.
I just
What the
but
heck?
some people have a different calling too, so I can't
Yeah,
judge. I'm
that's
not
true.
judging here. I'm just saying that generally speaking, for most people, guys, it's already hard enough for me to get people, I'm blocked left and right, and to,
Yeah,
have you know people take me seriously. Been a black sheep, so to just be outlandish, not, you know not outlandish to most people, is not going to help us. Like, I'm
yeah.
trying to reach
It's so
more people.
true.
We're trying to reach more people here, and yeah, like you said at the beginning of this, not
Yeah,
everyone is prepared to do a long. I don't suggest long juice fest for everybody, or this for everybody. Everyone has their own thing, you know.
yeah. But the long juice fasts are freaking. I just heard some crazy stories. Like I wear contacts. If I didn't have contacts, I would be legally blind. So I always think about that. Like, what if crap hits the fan and I can't get contacts? Like, I will literally be disabled. I will not be able to see 2 feet in front of me. And I don't like being dependent on anything, anyways. So I was working.
Uh-huh.
I was working as a conservationist, and there was a guy who was working with me, and he was also Dr. Moore's practitioner. I had no idea, and it was so random. But he saw my glasses, and they were like really thick, and he told me, he's like, I did a 166-day juice fast, and my glasses were thicker than yours, and I never needed them after that. I know, I had the same reaction. My jaw dropped, and I'm like, are you serious? So that has been like, it's always like on the top of my
Wow.
head. Like I need to at one point in my life just do it and see what happens. And when I was doing when I was more disciplined with myself, my prescription when I went back got better, like a few points. Like I'm like -7, which is really bad. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's really bad. But it was like -6.5, and I'm like, that's crazy. But I stopped. I started doing cooked food and like whatever. But yeah, so I know it. I know it's possible, and you can only do that when you are really disciplined. But so just you're right. We all have to have our different. What are we doing this for? What is your goal? But
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing that just cleaning up your energy in that sense can bring your vision back. I mean, regeneration. That's what we're talking about, and like that does require the deep stuff. But yeah.
Yeah,
Have you ever
that's
done anything like? I mean, you've definitely removed tons of stuff from your colon. But have
yeah.
you and I know you have, but I don't know, what have you like reversed that's been or regenerated?
Oh my gosh. And myself, or
Yeah, and yourself. Yeah.
um a long list. Yeah,
Yeah. What is like what is the worst thing like that people were like, "Oh, you will never get rid of that," or something?
mm, asthma,
Oh, okay.
incredible. I don't know what the doctors would label it,
Yeah.
but arthritis, fibromyalgia, ulcerative
Really?
colitis sort of stuff. I don't know what they would, if they would label it. It probably wouldn't label it. They'd probably label it ulcerative colitis. Not, I wasn't pooping blood like hardcore or anything. I mean, it's a few times, but that um, completely horrible sexual health, like just prostate issues.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, not all the time, but
Oh,
yeah, it
wow.
wasn't great generally. Yeah, complete fatigue, just completely shut down kidneys, completely shut down nervous system that was so sensitive, and just could not handle anything, could not handle loud noises, cannot handle anything.
Oh
Couldn't
my
handle the
gosh.
sun. I
So
had
you
to
had
wear sunglasses. My nervous system was so shut down on so many levels from so many reasons because of so many reasons.
yeah. How
My
long
nerves
ago
were
was
sick.
that?
Um, that I completely crashed just over 7 years ago,
Oh,
and
nice. Me too.
and yeah, we're similar. I think.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah, it's
cool.
amazing.
That's a lot of
Nervous
stuff
system,
going on, and that's like all systemic
parasites.
lymphatic crap.
Yeah, hypothyroid healed. Just my blood pressure's finally normal, and just yeah, the adrenals. Just I
Mm.
was in severe shape. I don't know what. There's so what else. I mean, there's so much. I mean, it hurt. Like I was saying earlier, it hurt for me to think about getting up and moving. It hurt for me
Oh
to
my
just lay there.
god. That's
And I was just
horrible.
in the. I was praying. I just wanted. I was praying, please, just I want to die. I'm in so much pain for 3 years.
Everything was on fire. Everything was
Yeah,
just
everything was burning. Yeah,
stagnant,
yeah.
locked
Everything.
up.
Pain.
Oh man, that makes
Yeah.
me feel like so light for you because I bet feeling when stuff started moving must have been like, oh my gosh, like I'm never gonna stop doing this, you know? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And the
Well,
interesting thing is I was very clean for a
yeah.
very long time prior to that, like 8 years or 9 years before that.
Oh wow.
You can be clean
Yeah.
by eating almond butter. That's clean, but that's still heavy and it's still
Mm,
protein is what? Pain. If you're
mm,
having pain, it's going to add pain to you. If you're not having pain, you can deal with a little bit. So I was eating a ton of almond butter and grass fed this and all this. And I didn't finally turn vegan until, like 7 years ago. But I cut out the dairy like 14 years ago or something, and the GMOs and the processed, for the most part, food. But I've had it's just like you said, you have those times, and I
yeah.
started overdoing it physically, being in nature all the time, just going 12 hours a day, going as fast as I could up mountains and stuff every day for many years, like
That's
6 years of
awesome.
that.
What a
And
great experience.
yeah, it showed me that you need to I never took a time to rest. I never took a time to ever, even for a second. It was
Yeah.
like when I stopped doing cocaine 20 years ago, it was like
Mm,
I was still a tweaker, and I
yeah.
never stopped ever to rest. And then I overdid it physically, and then I started eating, yeah, like things that you'll eat while you're going in the nature that are cooked and they're animal product or whatever.
Yeah.
Organic rice chips. Hey, they're organic. They must be healthy. No, they still have these freaking seed oils that are
Yeah.
GMO. Even if they're not GMO, it's not food, and they're still gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, my health just went.
Uh,
It was. If I just listened to DTM in 2000 all the way, when I bought my first juicer in 2011 or 2011, and I
oh
saw
wow.
him and stuff. But I was doing a lot of stuff. I was making the sauerkraut at that time. I was doing a lot
Yeah.
of cool things, different trying things. But I was like, I knew it was the truth, but at the time I was like, I'm
You
not
weren't
ready.
ready.
I
Yeah.
was not ready.
No.
No way.
It's a huge commitment. You're giving up our comforts, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so that's cool. You listened to DTM. Was that the first your segue into this whole stuff?
John
And then
Kohler, DTM. Yeah, and I never could find Dr. Morse until it was the right
I was
time, I
gonna
guess.
say, how did you find him?
I was just desperate looking for answers like I always was.
Yeah.
What can help me? What can help me? What can help me? Which I did for my whole life. Like you and me,
Yeah.
we've had a long journey, and I
Yeah.
luckily found him somehow. He has
That's
never
so
been easy to find. Why do even back
I
then?
know. I know.
You know why?
I know.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
shame, but
horrible.
yeah.
But that's
Well,
why we're here.
that's why we're here, exactly. Um, how about we talk a little bit about iridology?
Let's do it.
Just a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
sure.
Because it's a science, and I like how I don't know where I heard this, but the eyes allow you not only to look outside, but it allows one to look inside and see what's going on. So it's a twofold thing. You've been doing the iridology a little bit longer than I have, I believe. So, well, I know. um, so I wanted to just ask you. I guess as a practitioner, how it's very valuable for us to see and like be able to tell the client, but for the client, like, what do they get out of it? They just know, you know, what do they get out of it? Because for me, most people are not really interested. It's like a curiosity thing. It really doesn't help them, it's such a great tool for us, and I think for everyone just to know and be aware of what's going on internally in them, and like for preventative stuff. So just wanted to find out from you because you've been doing this a lot longer. Do you incorporate that always? And do you find that people are really like, wow, like this is right on, like, or do you find like, have you seen things that they didn't know about that have came up? It's a lot of questions there, so take
It
what you
is.
want.
I'll try to answer it
I
as
know.
best that I
Sorry.
can. Yeah, just let me know if I don't finish it.
Yeah.
Seeing is believing, and really, I just like to have as much information as I can. So
Yeah.
the iridology guys, you get a picture of your eye up close. It's very in depth, and it tells you everything. It's the window of the soul. It's the window of your lymphatic system. It tells you everything. So I always suggest it, but it's not going to. I know there's people who have hated on it, but they don't even know because it's not going to heal. It's not going to heal someone, but it will tell you real time what's going on, what's up with you, with how acute your or normal your tissues are, or how chronic and stagnant, you know, you every
Yeah.
single cell in your body is. So it's a great way to have. It's important to number one start your journey, your detox journey. Get a picture right away of both
Yeah.
eyes, so then you can see where you are in
Yeah.
a year or 2 years. Or when you see the changes, it's mind boggling.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna
um,
ask you that. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
uh, you can go.
No, I was gonna
Okay.
ask you, have you had people completely change their eye color?
I mean, it's not always super dramatic. Um,
Mhm.
and people can get expect too much. Don't expect anything, and don't have expectations with anything, right? But
Yeah.
um, and some people will, like you were saying before too, is like some people will see some very dramatic stuff, and it will really um, you can tell that like they're like wow, like, and some people won't. I mean, but everybody sees enough dramatic stuff, but like certain things, like for
That's
example for
cool.
me, I broke
Mhm.
my pelvis when I was 16 years old. And the pelvis section on our Bernard Jensen chart, how
Yeah.
big is it? It's tiny.
They're
you can
so
see
tiny.
you can see clear as day where I broke my hip 20 years something years ago.
Mhm.
I mean, and it's a huge, it looks like a huge drug deposit, even though I didn't have surgery or
Wow.
anything. It's gigantic. It's right, it encompasses the whole pelvic region. So stuff like that. And
Interesting.
then when you can see people's like issues, when you start to see the healing lines, when the
Mhm.
lines are straightening out, I've seen that in people, and people are like, wow. But generally speaking, you go over this and that and that, and then you're just like, yeah. When you have more confirmation of your issues, like, oh, that's your small
Yeah.
intestine, guys. Enemas and colonics
Yeah.
don't get to the small intestine, guys. That's why look at your small
Good
intestine. So
point.
you point out all these things, and yeah, I mean, it's a no brainer for me. I suggest it, but yeah, a lot of people, they don't want to pay. They'll pay for other things, but they don't want. Honestly, and I was
I
that way
know.
too. I got 2 appointments with Marcy. Um,
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten more with them, because when I was
Mhm.
healing, when I was in my journey, because it wasn't enough. I needed support.
Yeah.
I needed someone to. That's why, like, I personally offer. Like, I'm
You
not
needed
trying to
someone
keep
to
my.
do what you're doing for your clients.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I needed someone. You really sometimes need someone to hold your hand, like, seriously,
Yeah.
because you just have like one session. I swear, for me, I don't know about you. You have a
Yeah.
lot of just. I'm 90% one session, and then I don't hear. I mean, I'll hear
Mhm.
from them again. Maybe they'll respond to me or something. maybe they won't. They just.
I like to generally check in once a week, but then because I feel so bad because people struggle so much, and like I haven't had that one client. I do have this one client that I mentioned before, and he checks in with me all the time. But other than that, I try and check in just to make sure. Like, do you need extra guidance? Do you have any questions? Because I know that people are probably giving up, and I feel it. So I'm always trying to reach out. And yeah, I don't hear from people, or people are like, "Oh, I had a really hard week and I fell off." And so I just give them time,
Mhm.
but yeah, you do have to do that extra hand holding, and because we really want success. Like we just don't want, we don't care about the money for the consultation. Like I want to see you reverse this so you can help your family and you can help your people, because that's how it is.
Totally.
I was gonna ask you. You said you saw you had an eye picture of your eye and you saw your pelvic area. It looked really bad. Do you have pictures of it after?
Yeah, there's been no change in that part.
Really?
No way.
Have you
No,
done like
I
comfrey?
I need to do more. I need to do more for sure.
That would be cool though to see the difference.
Yeah, no, I'm about to do a deep. I haven't went deep in a long time. I'm about to do a 30,
Yeah.
at least 30 days of juice.
When you do juice fast like that, I know like juicing is such a labor of love. Do you do you do like the complicated all these herbs, or do you do like the juiciest stuff so you can get the most out of it? And then do you top it off with coconut water or distilled water or something? Yeah, all of
That's
that.
that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Um, it's love. That's what it is. It's not even labor. I just if the hardest thing for me is to source. Like here in Costa Rica, I haven't been able to source enough juice that is actually ripe, or it's been really a desert here. So that's been the hardest
That's
thing
crazy.
for me. I mean, I've probably done about just of juicing, just a
Yeah,
year of just. I've done 4 months, 29 days, 50, like so many
that's
weeks and
awesome.
10 days, so many. So to answer your question, I like to be personally drinking about 6 liters a day, and it's always depending on how much
That's a
fruits
lot.
do I want. Oh, yeah, because I don't want to have more discomfort than I should. If I'm drinking 2 or 3 liters a day, I'm going to have a lot more healing issues. And either way, I'm going to be healing, but I want to have a
Mm,
pleasurable, more of a pleasurable experience where I can go do my 90-minute yoga every day, where I can be active and
mm,
helping clients still, and going around and doing my tasks that I am doing around the world, traveling the
yeah.
world. Like I want to be able to um, yeah, if I'm just drinking two, it's going to bring up some 2 liters a day. It's going to be too intense. So
Oh yeah.
I, I do,
I do four because 4 liters is a gallon, right?
yeah, I
About.
mean, I don't want to lose any muscle, especially if you're
Mhm.
drinking water, like watermelon doesn't have a lot of calories in it. Um, and I like
So
to
what do
be
you?
fruit
What
and
juices do you do? What do
I
you do
like
with juice
fruit and
fast?
veg. I'm definitely a big on veg, and yeah, like I like to
Okay.
take the herbal, fresh herbs are great, but yeah, I love taking, of course, the herbal tinctures and capsules. Um, I love coconut water and sugarcane juice, so I do all of the juices when I do it, and
Okay.
I also suggest actually most people that I work
Yeah.
with personally to do some veggie juices. Yeah, the veggies are. If I'm just saying from my experience, in myself and other, it's like if you're doing 4 liters or 3 liters of grape juice or something,
Yeah.
orange juice, and then you're doing a liter of coconut water, a liter of veggie juice, or
Mhm.
2 liters of veggie juice, and
Mhm.
2 liters of veggie juice and a liter of coconut water. Um, that's
It's a good
not the
way to
veggie
keep the amino, the structure.
balance. Because
Yeah.
if you just do 6 liters of orange juice, it's gonna be
Ooh,
freaking insanely
that'd be
intense. Trust
awesome.
me, I've done it. Trust me,
Yeah.
it's intense. And so there's a it's not that
That's awesome.
it's just going to be more pleasurable. You're going to be, it's not going to be sometimes it pulls too much, this astringents, and it's like I was experiencing that on my 4-month juice fast. That's why I stopped, because my issues that I was like I told you, the ulcerative colitis, like I had a very spastic bowels,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
it was like I would, like my life was I have to go find a toilet 20 times a day for my whole life.
Okay.
Like,
I see.
so
Mhm.
so when I was doing grape and lemon juice, it was making it more extreme, where like literally I had a couple times, 40 times in one day on the toilet,
Wow.
just because it was just a little bit of stuff coming out. It's gross, but so sometimes
No,
it's
it's
good
good
to
to
have the
know. It's good
veggies
to know that.
to
Yeah.
yeah, the veggies are gonna slow you down if you're eating them and stuff, but if you're juicing, it's not gonna, it's you're still gonna detox quite heavily.
Right.
If you're just adding a little bit of veggie juice, you're not gonna stop if you go eat, potatoes and stuff. That's a whole different thing,
Right.
right? Then yeah, so that's
No,
that'd
that's a
be.
good point because I've had people who they're like, I can't be shitting at work all the time. And I'm just like, well, you can slow it down. You can add an avocado to a smoothie or whatever. But you're right. That's such a dense thing. So incorporating some green juice is going to help you, not have to be doing that all the time. So it's a good way to, balance, like you said. So, when you were mentioning doing the juice fast, the orange juice, what uh, what were you feeling when you started getting those astringent things? Was it when you were feeling too much detox? What was that? Was that just needing to relieve yourself a lot, or did you get other detox symptoms?
um generally it's generally it you know it was just like mind-blowing fatigue, just the worst you could imagine. And yeah, using the bathroom a lot. And
That's so
yeah,
weird that
just
you'd be
having the cold
fatigued.
feet, cold hands, and the hypothyroid stuff, and just complete sensitivity. The nervous system completely shut down, where I have to wear earplugs, or I would have to put a eye mask over my eyes, just lay in the dark and not do
So did
anything.
you push through that, or did you introduce
Yeah.
something to maybe slow it down a little bit?
I mean, it's been so many times that
Yeah,
it's always a different situation, because I've done, like I said, probably a year of just juicing altogether. So I've done,
that's
I did
crazy.
about a year on citrus juice, or I mean, sorry, a month, a month
Wow,
on citrus juice at the end of my 4-month juice fast, where I did a 5-day dry fast at the end as well.
wow,
And
that's
what I was
amazing.
talking about earlier. And but really, I was really, really sick for so long. Like after that, I didn't break it properly. Went right into the worst emotional eating I've ever done. That was like 5.5 years
Uh,
ago or something. And then
yeah,
it took a while after that, like a year and a half or so, to get healthy. After that, I had to do a bunch more juice. After my 17-day water fast. Um, that was the deepest healing that I've done, because I did it so well. And then when I
mhm,
broke that fast, I broke it like a champ. And ever since then, my health was amazing. And then I did 29 day. I did a lot of juicing, and then I did a 29-day juice fast. And ever since that 29 juice fast was, yeah, I've just been in a whole nother realm. Like for the last 3 years since that. That was my second longest juice fast. It was 29 days. So, but I've
awesome.
done
Good
so
for
many
you.
short ones.
It's so
Yeah, you just,
inspirational. I love it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you do when you feel horrible? You do what
Well,
it takes,
that's what I was
right?
gonna say. Like I haven't. My things have been more, physical pain and stuff, but not like sickness where adrenal fatigue or asthma. Fibromyalgia. If I'd had something like that, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, when you were going through those feelings,
Hmm.
it's interesting to me that you've done so much, but then you'll still have these detox symptoms come up. Like, when will this? What is it going to take? I mean, I know everyone's different. Things are like really locked into us. But I would think
Well,
that when you mentioned that thing in particular you were going through uh, with the citrus stuff, like I would think that you would have seen the other side of it, like gotten through it and seen the other side. But you're saying it keeps presenting itself
well,
every
that
time.
time that was some deep work. But then
Yeah.
I went back to eating. That was the one of the few times I was eating non-vegan. I went to eating fish tacos like 10 tacos in St. Pete area. I was eating tacos and then like frozen. I don't know why, but I was doing the stuff I hadn't done in
Oh, I
15
see.
years. I was eating like it was some real embedded
Wow.
stuff. I was eating like frozen
Your body wanted
or,
to keep it
organic
stuck in
French
there.
fries. I it was like that whole fast was a complete waste because yeah, yeah,
Okay. I get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
That
when
was a
you
long
don't
time
break
ago.
it the right way,
Yeah.
you're not releasing anything. You're kind of like suppressing it again.
Yeah, the fasting is only half of it. Breaking the fast and learning how the ways of discipline and not overeating. My binge eating was my thing. Like that was the only drug I've had for so long. I stopped doing hard drugs 20 years ago,
Yeah.
but I didn't stop eating. That was my drug, and that's been a hard one
So-
to deal with. But no, I mean my symptoms now and stuff like I
Yeah.
mean over these last four something years, I'm like yeah, I'll still have symptoms. It's the same thing now. How far do I need to go? Like it's been 3 years since I've done a
Mhm.
deep thing, and
Yeah.
yeah, I honestly have some minimum symptoms coming up sometimes, depending on how hard I go. If it's if I eat every
Okay.
single day cooked food, I'm gonna
Yeah.
feel some of those symptoms. But it's don't get me wrong, it's nothing like it was 7 years ago. No, it's well
Okay.
managed. It's just yeah, no, I'm not.
So then you
No, no.
see that
I've
you've like
healed. I've
gotten
you
through
see
that other stuff.
yeah.
So
If you
now
see
you're
my
just
eye
like,
pictures
yeah. I would love to see your eye
from
pictures.
you could see over there. Yeah, yeah,
Can you send me your eye pics so I can just
yeah,
see them when
yeah. Sure,
at some point? Okay.
yeah,
Well,
sure.
that would be cool. Let's see. So this
Yeah,
video is going to go out on both of our channels, and
yeah,
the topic was what it takes to truly heal and reverse your illness. We spoke about the emotional part. I just love the information you shared. I think it's really cool that you have so much experience with fasting and stuff. I really don't like, um, and I think that's good information about properly breaking a fast and the balancing part. Because when I do my juice stuff, I'm just doing watermelon because it's easy. You get a lot and it's easy. But you're right. There's that balancing part to it, which that's what I started thinking. Like maybe that's why it's been so hard for me to do extended ones, is because I'm not incorporating those, you know, more grounding energies. I don't know, but I love what
you
you
get
shared.
healthier.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you get healthy. One thing I forgot to mention. Should I
yeah.
mention it real quick?
Mention it. Yeah,
Um, is that you will see this as you go. Like I said, like 17-day water fast. As I kept going, doing more juicing after that, it's just I got so much better, and I was just able to just like thrive and thrive and thrive. But every single time that you are doing a juice fast,
mm,
you will feel these times just where you're having the peaks and the valley. When you're going, you're just feeling so crappy. It might be for one day. It's usually for a few days. You're just feeling so fatigued because everything is locked down. But when that stuff exits you, like when it comes out of there as mucoid plaque, I've screamed at it before. I'm like, I'm so glad you're out of me. Like, I mean, when it comes out of you, then you have then like the as you gradually you do more and more of this, you will have these times where it leaves, and then you're on fire for a week. Then you have unlimited energy, and then you're feeling great. But then guess what? If you're gonna keep juicing for however long, guess what? You're gonna have another layer that comes, and so that's the process. No matter where you're at, no matter if it's your
mhm.
first juice fest or your 100th.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
just
there's always stuff to like. That's crazy. Like, when will we ever get it all out? But no one ever knows because it takes so much work, years and years of hydration.
Yeah.
Um,
Discipline. That's the hard one. Good luck. But we're
Well,
accountability partners now, I think, right? I need
I
it.
was gonna say I would love to. You inspired me with that amazing post on Facebook. And I don't know what it was because I've seen
Likewise.
so many posts. I've seen so much over the years. It's something that you mentioned, and I was just. I think it's because you said 66 days or something. And I was like, that's literally like 2 months, and I'm thinking like I could do that. Like I could totally do that, and I could probably do more because then from there it's like another month, 100 days, and just you just keep going. But I would love for us to maybe do some juice fasting things, do lives,
Yeah.
or just keep on doing stuff like this to inspire others. Because definitely when you do this lifestyle, keeping yourself surrounded by these energies, and I listen to Dr. Morse every time he has a new video. I'm always following Dan McDonald, all the people, all the time. I listen to the Arnold Ehret over and over and over and over again. It's just sinking in my brain. So, got to keep yourself surrounded, and if we can just be more in people's faces, like the better. Who knows who's listening and what kind of what they're getting from it. You have great information. um, who knows what I have, but I have something out there for
You got a
somebody. So
lot. You have a
yeah,
lot. Your story is your pick. Oh my gosh, you've come. Gosh,
thanks.
I want to hear more about that. So the
Yeah.
next time, let's
Well,
talk more about you. Thank you
yeah.
for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for making the
Yeah.
time. I know you're going
And
through
your
some.
channel is your. How can people get a hold of you? And then I'll do mine.
Yeah, so I am holistic living with Adrian. Um, I did a TikTok. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube, which I'm putting this video on YouTube. I'll figure out ways to chop it up and put it on other platforms. But yeah, and then you'll find the video. This will be also on your page, which you can let them know where to find that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Raw Vibrant Health on YouTube. That's the best way to find me. You can find my website. You can find my other Facebooks. But yeah, basically find my website, the YouTube. That's the best way.
Is that where you
Uh,
have your testimonials on your website? Because that's super powerful.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's the website
And
is Litesite, LITESITE.com / it's I don't even know what slash it is / Raw Vibrant Health. But just go to the YouTube and you'll find it. Or if you want, you can just email me right off the bat, rawvibranthealth@gmail.com.
okay, I'll put all that in whatever description
Same.
we
I'll put
have.
yours as well.
Thanks. But yeah,
Cool.
definitely check out his testimonials if you're on the fence. Powerful stuff just to hear other people's stories. And
Yeah. Check
yeah,
her out. Adrian's got the real. She's dialed in ways that I haven't seen with too many practitioners. There's a lot of good practitioners, but she's been through it and she knows what works and what doesn't. So yeah, also
thank you.
check her out.
I appreciate that. And we love you guys. We're here
Yeah,
for
love you.
you. And reach out to us if you need some help. You don't have to live with your chronic pain and everything else.
Yeah.